Today I'm going to be sharing some acrylic painting tips. Let's jump into it. Today we're creating this vibrant, surreal acrylic painting on a watercolor canvas pad. This isn't your typical stretched canvas. It's a loose sheet of canvas, which makes it super budget friendly for beginners who are experimenting and going through a lot of surfaces. It's also easy to store and ship, which is a huge bonus. Now this may look like a normal pad of paper, but it's not. It is real canvas. And in this case, I've chosen a watercolor canvas pad because that is going to give me a really smooth surface, which means blending is much easier and details are going to be much easier. If your canvas has too much texture or tooth, it makes it a lot easier to get that smooth blending and fine detail. Now we're ready to dive into a colorful cosmic creation. But our first layers, not so colorful. They will make your life so much easier though. Step 1, establishing lights and darks in black and white. Our first step is to build the foundation of our painting by creating bold contrasts with just black and white acrylic paint. Why start this way? If you try blending your bright colors like purples, blues, oranges, all while mixing in the darks, you're going to end up with a murky, muddy mess. By painting this in monochrome first, we create a clear roadmap for our colors to pop later on. For this step, I'm also adding the first layer of stars. Here's a fun trick. Thin your white acrylic paint with water to get a heavy cream consistency. Then grab a stiff bristled brush, load it up, and flick the paint onto the canvas. This splatter technique creates a natural star field with clusters and varied sizes, way more dynamic than painting each star individually, which tends to come out looking like polka dots. Let this layer dry fully before moving on. Step 2, layering vibrant colors for depth. Once your black and white base is dry, it's time to bring in the color. We're going to use a layering technique to add depth and vibrancy. Thin your acrylic paints with water to make them flow smoothly, but avoid using white paint at this stage. White can make your colors look chalky and opaque. We want bold, luminous, translucent hues that stand out. I started with oranges and magentas, brushing them over the lighter areas of my canvas for a glowing effect. As I move into the darker sections, I switch to teal and indigo. Don't skip the black areas. Layering the paint over black with thin layers of color adds incredible depth, making your darks feel rich and multidimensional. Way more interesting than flat black. Blend gently where colors meet for a seamless, dreamy background and let it dry before the next step. Step 3, sketching your main subject. With our stunning background complete, it's time to add the star of the show. I'm painting a surreal tree, but feel free to choose any subject that sparks your creativity. You have two options here. 1, draw your design directly onto the canvas using tracing and transfer paper for a clean outline. I love the tracing and transfer paper method because it avoids messy eraser marks and gives a crisp, professional start. If you prefer drawing freehand directly onto the canvas, use a General's white charcoal pencil. It shows up beautifully on the painted surface and wipes away mostly, if not all the way clean if needed. Are you enjoying this lesson? Do you want to follow along in real time, brushstroke by brushstroke? Head over to patreon.com/Lachri, where for as little as $6 a month, you get access to this and over 400 of my other long-form lessons. That's a lot of lessons for not a lot of dollars. Let me help you take your work to the next level. Step 4, painting the tree with layered acrylics. Now let's bring our tree to life. I start with a dark green base layer for the foliage. After this base layer dries, I add lighter layers by mixing in small amounts of yellow and white to create highlights. Be careful not to overdo the lighter colors. You want the darker greens to peek through for depth and contrast. Build up gradually to give your tree a lush, three-dimensional look. Each additional layer is going to get lighter and lighter, meaning more yellow and more white. Pro tip, do your greens look unnatural? If you use the color straight out of the tube, sometimes it can just be too bold. Try mixing red oxide, or burnt sienna into the green to give it a more natural color. For inspiration, try searching for bonsai trees for reference photos. They're perfect for surreal paintings because of their unique sculptural shapes. I found a gorgeous one on Unsplash that's inspiring my tree today. Step 5. Adding asteroids for a cosmic touch. Next, let's paint some asteroids to enhance the surreal, spacey feel. Start with a dark gray base for each asteroid, letting it dry completely. Then, layer on highlights and shadows with lighter grays and a touch of white for dimension. I'll add a pop of teal later for a vibrant twist, but for now, I'm going to focus on creating form and texture just with the black and white. Use a small round brush or small Taklon bristled filbert brush to add details like cracks or craters for extra realism. Step 6. Bringing in the snail for whimsy. Now for a fun detail, a tiny snail. He's so small, I keep the details minimal, but focus on high contrast to make him stand out. I start with a mid-tone base color for his body and shell, and then add highlights and shadows. At first, my snail blended in too much to the background, so I painted a brighter orange over his shell to give him some pop. Play with your colors here. Make sure your snail shines against the cosmic backdrop. Someone during my live stream suggested a bold red for the snail shell, and that would have also been a wonderful choice. Step 7. Tying it all together with a surreal glow. To finish, let's add a surreal glowing effect to unify the painting. I used a bright aqua green to lightly brush along the bottoms of the tree and asteroid. This isn't about realism, it's about creating depth and a magical balance. The aqua green adds a dreamy, otherworldly look that pulls the whole piece together. Step back and admire your work and tweak any areas that need a little extra love. If you love this lesson, share your creation with me and let's keep the creativity flowing. And remember, as always, you can follow this lesson along with me in real time, brushstroke by brushstroke at patreon.com/Lachri, where for as little as $6 a month, you get this and over 400 of my other long form lessons to keep you creative. Let me help you take your work to the next level. Did you know the absolute easiest way to blend acrylics is low cost? Check out this video here.